Hello, this is Pigsy doing another video. So, let's get out of here. I've just finished work. There's a few things I thought of today. I'll talk about some spiritual stuff and other things. One, I was thinking, if you wanted like waterboarding, they got these new masks, KN95. So one of my companies I work for turned around and said, yeah, you got to wear these masks. So I was wearing a different mask, and I thought, okay. So I wear masks, and I'm thinking they're spending a lot of money because they're all bagged up like a packet of crisps almost. So it's kind of like this packaging for it. It's clear, but it's got sort of like side you can rip and all sorts of things. So it's spent a lot of money making a mask, and there's only about probably 8 in this box, and it kind of seems pointless. Well, what seems pointless about it is there's just so much energy put into making a mask. It's supposedly just use it one time and get rid of it, really, or for the shift. End up wearing a mask all week long, probably. I mean, it's not that it gets damp. Once it's spoiled, you get rid of things. But if you don't really notice any sort of problems with it, then you can keep using it, really. As long as it's effective. So it's a particle mask. However, it's hard breathing through the thing. And I was thinking to myself, rather than waterboarding prisoners, somebody could just stick on one of these masks and have them in handcuffs and just put them on and leave that on all day and say, oh yeah, it's due to COVID. Or you better put an extra mask on due to COVID. And you know, eventually that would just drive them mad because it was a claustrophobic thing. Especially if you was put in a cell, let's say it was dark, and you had this mask on, or you put in some sort of environment, you sort of deprivation environment for a prisoner, something you'd like MK Ultra sort of thing. But definitely spooky stuff. So yeah, getting on to more into the spooky stuff. I think it was about a night ago, and it was about 5 AM, and I started to wake up, and I kept my eyes closed because I noticed there was something that looked like a light, and I was thinking, well, what was that? This car's come over a bit wrong. Maybe he's listening. So I was thinking to myself, what is that? But I kept my eyes closed, and what I saw was a shadowy figure had like claws on it. It may have even had long ears and a bald head. I don't know. I just kept my eyes closed, and I saw this figure move into this light that I could see through my eyelids. I didn't have my eyes open, not that I was aware of. And there's this like blackness there, and I was expecting it to move and then the light to be there. And then I realised there was no light there, and I was thinking, what on earth? Because the curtains are closed. There's glass. I mean, it could be a light from outside, but also this figure. And I'm thinking maybe that light was me. Maybe that was like my aura, and then what on earth's going on with this being? So I've always had this kind of like djinn in my life, or some different things, and I don't know why fully. It never fully makes sense. It was just one of these experiences that I've always had from a child, but it's still there, and it's something that I need to try to solve before I get to the end of my life. The worst thing I was thinking about is that, imagine if it's waiting to harvest you. Is it like a harvester? And there was something like a dream harvester or a dream... Because you get dream catchers, you get the idea of this thing that collects your bag of dreams. But there was an idea that something actually feeds off your dreams and takes them away. That's why you can't remember them. And when it doesn't turn up, you can have a great dream. But most of the time you don't dream because it's been stolen from you. Like your creativity is something that needs to be milked by some other being, because it can't do it itself. It can't have these dreams itself. So they become very valuable, memories and dreams. But it wasn't. I think they call them dream seekers or something. Yeah, something bizarre. And my mind come up. It was like some being. I was going to do like some sort of scary book, a bit like Lovecraft. And just dip into, I guess, dip into my own mind, sort of pull out. The thing is, we're just like one universe in many. So there's things living in us at a spiritual level, in the same way as bacteria. If it's connected to, say, some type of group consciousness, and something's living inside you, then another consciousness exists inside you. And it's difficult to know how far these things go, really. And also, like with this entity, is it a part of me? Is it something that lingers around me? Is it me, myself? I might be actually that being. The light, I don't really understand completely. Was it trying to extract some energy, or was it trying to communicate with some part of me? It pretty much bolted soon afterwards. But when it did, it just left shadow behind it, and the light had gone. Maybe it was trying to heal me, or maybe the light was like an orb. It took it off. It used it as a craft to transport out there, maybe something interdimensional there. I don't know. So I was thinking, do I need to protect myself from something? Because I'm not conscious of it fully, and when I do, it's just like a bit confusing what that means. It's something I kind of explore, but I don't fully understand. And why I might engage with certain entities, you can't assume that all of them have good intentions. I think they're very much, they're not necessarily bad intentions, but they serve their own interests. They don't really have a reason, or maybe they are just constantly supporting this dimension we live in. And sometimes it gets more confusing. Like tonight, I was looking at something. It was mundane. I'm thinking I've seen this a million times. I felt like I've seen it I saw it before I even was involved with it, like deja vu. And so I'm reliving my life over and over again, these similar patterns, and not necessarily want to break them. I want to use the patterns to advantage my being. So if I know how things turn out, I can use that time to improve myself, like self-improvement. It's like lockdown, it's going to last for months, so why don't you do something else while you're waiting? And that's kind of, from a spiritual perspective, what to do is prepare, and also prepare for the next life. Because you might be thinking, let's get this life sorted out now. But the reality is that you might not be able to impact something much in the present, but you might have a greater impact on your next cycle, because you can't go back in the past and change something, but if you're coming back again, you probably can influence. It's really difficult, because at the moment I've only lived so much in my life. Imagine if the outcome was really good, but yet you've had a few shit experiences along the way, and you're assuming that your life won't get much better, and actually it's going to take a turn for the best, and it's just something you haven't yet. Basically, it hasn't come into fruition, so you can't figure it out fully. I'm definitely for moving into more of a MGTOW perspective. Oh, for fuck's sake, what on earth's going on with you? I'm coming down the road and there's a bloody car pulling out. You'd think he'd put an indicator on. At least I could understand where he's going, and maybe I can make allowances. But I've also got a car behind me, and if I brake hard, he's got to brake hard. So I've got to basically dodge a hazard, because the other car behind me, and I had this earlier. So basically, I stopped outside of a sort of cycle zone, because there was like a little space for cycles to go in. I didn't go in it, the box. And the car behind me assumed I was going to go right up to the lights, and so he kind of brake swerved behind me a little bit. He braked and then he aimed off the side of me. It's like a pit manoeuvre that somebody would do to take the back of a car out. So yeah. So anyway, some MGTOW. So I'm having some I think I've had some good online experiences so far, and it may lead me to a different country and to a different relationship, which would be a completely different timeline. Yeah, definitely it'd be nice, I think, to set myself up for a trip to Russia. So I've got somebody who keeps sending me a lot of videos, and they're just kind of like everyday videos, like, you know, like show me a lot of food that you prepared and stuff. So I don't feel uncomfortable about these sort of videos. Some other people use videos to trick people. They basically send these videos and then they say something in it. And so I don't know, it's just very weird. So, but it's very different. I should say it's very different rather than weird. So preparing myself for something in the future is probably a good idea. But however, there's lots of odd stuff. I had a woman, and basically it was a porn star, set a profile, and someone had chopped something off. But she's probably showing off her backside. It seems strange. She's like, oh yeah, I'm looking for a serious relationship, etc. And then you got this picture, and I clicked on the picture and it enlarged it, and it's literally she's just pulling up her skirt, and I was thinking, well, I don't think looks like she's after a serious relationship. I don't know what she's after. So some guy of a crank, basically, he's used these pictures to try to lure people in and then take advantage of them financially. Yeah, I think I've got over some of myself, because it's like, do you want a relationship or don't? And I think I still might have a relationship anxiety if somebody wants to come to the country and see me. Because I've got one person who says she's sort of financially able, but it's not real major chemistry there. She's just very dry, but maybe she's very conservative, and so it's just a case of a new personality type, a new type of person, getting used to it. The other ones, I mean, they're both fairly young, which is great. This is sort of MGTOW you should be aiming. So they're at least 20 years younger than I am. But then they said, you know, they weren't really finding what they were looking for. So, and the other ones, possibly there's a daddy thing going on there. She said her old man left when she was the age of 6, and he had another family, and so he left mum to sort of get on with it, basically. And so it might create one of these like slight daddy complex. There's a desire to have a father type figure in your life so that you can complete a part of yourself. There's a puzzle going on in the background that you're trying to put the pieces together. The problem is, if you've got someone that's left you and it hasn't really made any sense, it's left a void there. It's unanswered questions that you're trying to pick up. I mean, it's a bit like if a parent was going through lots of stuff you didn't fully understand as a child. That was me beeping. A bit weird, when I pressed it didn't do anything. So yeah, I mean, if you've got parents you didn't fully understand what's going on in their life and you judged them on it, then you have to reevaluate that. And so I don't know. I mean, I don't think that's exactly what's going on, but it may explain maybe an interest in an older man because she's looking for something more stable. And I'm not really into playing games. What I will notice though is that within all genders, I say, there's going to be some traits that exist in all of them. I might talk about whatever it might be. They might have dated a bit before they decided to want to settle down, so they're likely got that history. You're not going to meet someone who's basically never had a relationship before. It's hardly likely. And why would you want to meet somebody exactly like that? But you wouldn't want someone really to talk about it too much either, because I think there's not necessarily jealousy, but it's the getting compared and not understanding the. I think it's kind of like boasting. Oh, I've had relationships. I guess from the reverse of that, I could boast and say, well, I haven't. I've been married. I've had children. I've done all that. I did that when I was young, and then it was just a case I couldn't really get into this dating scene at all. It just wasn't meeting the right people, or people I wasn't attracted to. So I remained as a bachelor. But I got a lot of pressure from other females that I knew, they wanted to know what's going on in your personal life. Are you dating? And if you're not, is there something? Why aren't you dating? Sort of thing. It's like, well, it just isn't there. The options, and for them, I guess really, they were tying themselves over with people that potentially could be more to them, you know, if they mature or change or whatever they're looking for. But they tied them over and gave them access to other, maybe men, and you know, so it seems like it's insincere dating, and then it becomes boastful. And it's a bit weird because guys don't really boast like that. Oh yeah, I dated her and I dated her, because that doesn't really sound great. But women do that, and it's like, okay, which could be to put a bloke off, basically. I don't know, or to test him. How does he react? How does he feel? You know, what was going on? And then they just ask you things that basically, like I was getting asked a quizzed about my divorce and stuff, and why would you got divorced? Which I can understand, because if you were this girl and you know, father walked out, you're 6, and you're looking for stability, you hear about a bloke who's got divorced, and you think, well, what's that all about? So you're basically going to wrap it up in a nutshell. I mean, I could have gone into great detail, and she didn't mind that. And I said it's kind of not really easy to talk about, because I've moved on, and I have to dig back in my memory to figure out. And I guess there's a part of me that lies to myself. So I'm telling a story that I think sounds good, that makes me maybe sound like the victim or the hero. And to be honest, it's a load of rubbish, really. Just stuff I made up. I mean, when people get divorced, there's usually problems on both sides. Or maybe it just was never meant to be, and you shouldn't have forced it to try to make it work, because it might have been that traditional value. By the time you fell in love with someone, you just sort of lost that focus, I guess. And also you're a different person. The person you grow into now, he doesn't really know the old person so well. He would make different choices, you'd think. It doesn't always work out that way. Yeah, definitely I'm a different person, I could say that. Even when I was looking at my old pictures, I could see I look different. I actually look younger, I think, because of my lifestyle, stress, pressure, you know, not really fully looking into the MGTOW, maybe not settled in. I mean, I've been making videos for a long time, and it was just a kind of way to communicate. I guess it's like art, I guess it's sharing something personal, trying to connect with people that might have similar experiences or views or whatever. Really, it's just that kind of outreach. But I don't really do videos I do for money, because I never set up anything for money on it. And the problem with that, if you start chasing the money, you'll get censored. You know, things to say, well, you can't say that, can't do this. A bit like one of the videos had 2 seconds, about 3 seconds of an artist, and the song was very particular, very distinctive. And then it said that the YouTube needs to evaluate it. I went, okay, fair enough. And then once they evaluate it, they told me they're going to give the royalties from this video, all of it, to the artist. And I was thinking, hang on, you did tell me not to take the music track out of it, because you was going to evaluate it. And then you made a decision that sounded like it was like a punishment as well. It wasn't like they gave me an ultimatum, and it was for 3 seconds. Like, you know, it'd be more better if it had an advert to do with that band or something like that. And to be honest, I wasn't making money out of it. I used the track for a device that I had basically hacked. So yeah. So what do I need to do? I think with these ladies from different countries, I need to just keep in a communication. 2 people's enough. Any more than that, you find it really hard. So especially when you write a letter for an hour a day. I mean, if you're locked down doing nothing, maybe, but if you actually put your full self into it, and women want different things. So if they're very critical, you know, I found that experience talking to someone with a critical mind not necessarily rewarding, because they look at you like a bit like a kid, because you'll be telling your story, and they don't tell much about themselves, and they think like, why didn't you get it together yet? You know, sort of like, what on earth's going on? And it's like, why other people would be like, yeah, well, I really want to understand how you feel and think and everything else. Come on. If you get in there, look, you can just get in there. Because if you don't get in there, I'm going to get a bloody car come down. I'll be trapped. There we go, that's good. That's what we want. I've got to see if there's any car park space. So yeah, I just need to put things into motion. I might get another gemstone. I've seen something on eBay, it was things getting bid, but I've got to check my money. And I saw some crowns as well. They were made out of copper, metal and copper. It said iron and copper crowns. So they're not plastic, which is good. Now, if there's too much shit going on, I'm just going to park in a disabled bay. That'll do me. Yeah. Anyway, just pick the sign off and speak to you again sometime. Bye.